Welcome back to another episode of Correctional Officer Stories. With Steve. As always, I am your host. Here to bring you another video. I know I've been absent for a little bit. Seems to be my motto the last, month. Here, I don't know. I try to get a video out a week. I'm going to try to get more because apparently it doesn't seem like my videos are getting many views. I don't know. But hopefully I'll put out some better content. And hopefully, we're at 900 now, goons. So thank you. 900. We're going to get to 1K probably in the next couple weeks to a month. That's kind of how the average goes. I don't know, but we're going to get there. I'll start going live a lot more. And that's how I kind of want to interact a lot. I like the live. I went live barely just the other day for a little bit, but then I got to break the laptop out, blah, blah, blah. So go live on my phone if I want. I can go live, whatever. So that's what I'm looking forward to get to that 1K. Not because you can get monetized at 1K or whatever. I don't even have the view hours to get monetized. I want to go live, as I've said several times. Or I want to get 1K, as I said several times, so I can get and go live. That's what I want to do. Anyway, today let's talk about some of the things you're going to hear from inmates, right? So they'll tell you in the academy, they'll tell you on the yard, your sergeant, your administration, other officers, they'll tell you don't look at an inmate's record. Don't look at their crime. It's going to piss you off. You're going to want to do something dumb to them. You're going to want to fight them. You're going to want to, whatever you're going to want to do. You're just going to want to cross the line, right? Or you're just going to be sick to your stomach. But I didn't usually ask inmates what they did. I didn't care. I just freaking went to work and ran my max unit and wherever else I was doing that day or that week or whatever, and I'd go home, right? So while I was down working in the max unit, we had some porters that worked for us on the regular, and I happened to be in the office one day. I can't remember what I was doing. I was making like a laundry list, or I was making like an Excel sheet. I can't remember exactly what it was for, right? And my porter was cleaning my office. The office that we utilized. It wasn't just mine, but it was an office. Sweeping, and I had him doing, some other stuff, wiping down the rails, just like busy work. You can only sweep so much and mop so much, right? So I said, hey, man, what are you in here for, man? What are you in here for? And, that wasn't usually my character. I didn't usually, like I said, I didn't ask him what the hell they were in there for because I really didn't give a shit. So he's like, you really want to know? I'm like, well, I asked you. He's like, all right, cool. He said, well, I'm in here for murder. I'm doing like 25 to life. I don't even know if he had a release date. He said, I caught my wife cheating on me, and it really fucked. Excuse my language, it really effed him up. And he didn't do anything at the time, right? And he actively caught his wife having a sexual intercourse with another man. And he walked in on it. So he said, I let it go for a couple months. And so I'm thinking, he probably ended up beating the shit out of this guy, killed him. And, that's why he's got a life sentence. So that's what I'm thinking in my head. So he proceeds to tell me, he ends up down a couple weeks later, he ends up beating the shit out of this guy and kills him. And then he tells me, he's like, yeah, and then I killed my kids, chopped them up, fed them to my wife for like 3 weeks. He's like, maybe even longer than that. And he's like, yeah, my wife really enjoyed that. And she was always asking me, this is really good, really good beef stew and whatever. And he's just talking to me like I'm talking to you guys now, normally, right? And I'm sitting there like, what the fuck? Like, I've heard some shit, but this is one of the most heinous crimes I've ever heard. He's telling me sweeping, no big deal. And he's like, and then he goes, one night I decided to slit her throat and watch her slowly die. And he said, I told you in the beginning, as she's dying, right? Don't ever effing cheat on me or it'll come back to you tenfold. And he ended up killing his wife, the guy she cheated with, and their kids, and was in there for basically a life sentence. He wasn't on a GPR. This was a protective custody yard at the time. And something like that ain't gonna fly on a GP yard. I don't even think he ever touched down on a GP yard. However, out of a lot of the stories that I had heard and some of the crimes that I've heard, because I've heard some heinous crimes, all officers have heard heinous crimes. It don't matter whether you look it up. Don't do that. But you're going to end up hearing about crimes no matter what. It's going to happen. So be prepared. But that was one of the ugliest freaking crimes I had ever heard. And I honestly didn't really even have a response. I was just thinking, I was angry, but I was really thinking to myself, how in the hell and why would you kill your kids, punish your kids for the actions of your wife, then freaking chop them up and feed them to her? Now just think about that in your head. And if you're watching this and you don't like it, then you can just stop watching right here and then catch some of my other videos. And you might think, well, I'm talking about this normal and it wasn't that big of a deal. But at the time, I was severely heated, and I ended up telling him, hey, go lock down. And I can't remember how I really addressed it, but he knew I was, they probably shouldn't have told me. But this guy was a effing psychopath, right? He totally told that story like it was no big deal. And it was my fault for asking, but I'll never forget that. And I've told some people about that were non-officers, like, some friends of mine. And they, everybody that has ever heard that story is just taken back. Because there's some gruesome ass shit that you're going to hear, see, do in prison that you will never see in civilian life. And one of them is the crimes that some of these guys commit, and girls and gals and whatever. Bad. Like, there is some bad shit that happens. And, there's a lot of normal people that have ended up on the other side of that fence for repetitive DUIs. You got all walks of life in prison, as you guys well know. But that was one of the most heinous freaking crimes I had ever heard of in my entire time within DOC, or seen on the media, or read anything. Especially for his wife, for him to catch his wife, cheating with somebody, and then to take it to the fullest extreme possible, which is just, I don't even know if that's the right terminology for it, but catching somebody cheating on somebody and then you finding out is, makes you mad. But catching somebody in the act, it's even that many more levels of mad. I've been a part of some infidelity way long time ago in my life, and been on both sides of that fence. Never caught somebody in the act. I wasn't the saint, but neither was she. But I'm here to tell you, it puts you in a whole nother level of mad. So until you experience it, you can say all day long that you wouldn't do anything, that you would walk, or maybe I just beat his ass and then walk, or whatever, her ass or whatever. I'm telling you, I've never been so mad in my entire life than when I was that day. And it just puts you in a whole nother world. Now, would I go do something as heinous as that? Hell no. I would never do something like that. I wouldn't in my life, because of the choice that my wife made, or your husband made, or your girlfriend, or your boyfriend, or whatever, your significant other. Just walk away, because it's probably going to hurt that person that much more if you just walk versus beating the shit out of them, or whatever you're going to do. It's easier said than done, of course. And I won't go into, how I handled that, but it's a heinous crime, and it's one of the craziest ones that I've ever heard. The craziest. And I just wanted to share that with you guys. Not that you give a shit. But anyway, goons, thanks for rocking with me. Thank you for continued support. I appreciate it. We are almost at the 1K mark. I cannot wait to get there. I cannot wait to go live and interact with you guys and get all the feedback and just sit here and bullshit with you guys. It's going to be awesome. So like I always say, if you're new to this channel, go ahead and subscribe, hit that like button, go ahead and share my videos. And if you don't like my videos, make sure you leave a comment and let me know why. Anyway, have a great weekend. Going into the weekend, and man, they seem to blow by fast. So anyway, y'all, talk with you again soon. Peace.